Hi everyone, you're watching Jana FX, and in this video I'm going to make technical analysis for the coming week. We will have a look at main pairs, important levels, and possible entry points. This week I didn't have that many trades, unfortunately, and we still have coronavirus, which is affecting the market, and this week we will have quite a lot of economical news, so please check the calendar and make notes. So we are starting with euro dollar as usual, and this is our week. I have a bit bigger charts for our time frame, and so well you can see that one of the possibilities of expectation of euro dollar moving down. This is exactly what happened this week. So it is in a downtrend channel, right? So we had this channel and it's continuing that way. So I was expecting a little bit of correction, of course, but I decided just to keep going with obviously not very good economical events this week. So pretty much, of course, at this point I would expect a little bit of correction, and then continuation of the downtrend towards our next level. So at this moment I don't see an entry point, to be honest, so we just need to see what is going to happen, like a little bit of consolidation maybe before it will decide to either continue the way down or a little bit of correction, right? So this is where it started to have a bit of consolidation. So for example, you see this week, that's the channel you could use for your entry point. So that's why I'm giving you a little bit of ideas. So this is where I had my level, right? So we're either waiting for the channel consolidation above it, in the middle, or slightly below it. So you can see it's actually happened slightly below it. This is the channel, so that's the entry point. Okay, so right here, so you place your orders, pending order, let's say how I do, 20 pips below. So this is where the entry, and then the market moves, and then you go with my EA, half positions closed, the rest going with the trailing stop. So right now we have about this area where it started to have a bit of consolidation, but you see there's a little bit of jump up. So if it will not jump down with the opening of the market, so that's why I will be waiting for some consolidation and then placing new orders. Like I'm saying, it might would have a bit of a correction, so we will see if it will try to correct and go back to that level, or if not, and it just sit there. So from here to the next level, it's quite a good distance. So this is where I will be looking to place my orders. You see, there is another like 70 pips to go down. So now I want to show you a bit bigger time frame. If you've been following my videos for a very long time, then you would remember well, many months ago we had this picture, as you can see here, and exactly you see I pointed out a long time ago at this area, the historical, right? And exactly pretty much the same happening now. And I don't remember where we were, maybe around this when we were trading here. I was telling you, look at this, that will give you a little bit of clue of what can happen with euro dollar, where I was telling you, look, it had a drop, it had a drop, and I had looking like a double bottom. So we had a little bit double bottom, which ended up about a triple bottom. And then look at this, we had a correction, and it had exactly the same. And then what it did, it had a drop. So you can see the history repeats each other. That's why you need to use history, you need to look back and see what was happening, because it will give you a little bit of clues of what can happen in the future. So you can see we have a bit the same history repeat, and so that's why on the bigger time frame I just want to show you that I expect, my expectation would be that euro might continue all the way down and even to reach the same level as it did previously. So you see here is a little bit might be, of course it's not 100% exactly the same, so plus minus we will see where the bottoms are. That's why I just want to move this level to see where it can go. You see we have the most touches, because previously like this I'm just using like the lowest. I mean, it can happen and even continue just like here, because you don't know what's going to happen with the, obviously Brexit is having an effect on euro and all economical news. They might do this to euros, so it quite easily can go lower, but it's like far away. Let's see a little bit of a near future. So here we go. That's why I'm right now, as it started to move towards our levels, that's why we're correcting them. Okay, so that's why I moved them a little bit higher to see where potentially it could be turned around, because usually you like to actually buy on the bottom, right, to sell on the very top. So we don't want to miss a good opportunity, and so we will try to see where it actually can stop. So around here, so I had some ideas that some of you were writing to me, will it go to 105? So yeah, it quite possibly can be. You can see this is where our level, it is around 105, so it's plus minus 105.34. So if you will see exactly 105 somewhere around here, then yeah, it's quite possibly it will go all the way. You see where, except you see I have a little bit plus minus, so let's just keep it. Like I'm saying, it depends how big your account size. If you have smaller, bigger accounts, you can, for example, start to buy a little bit higher than expected. If it will go 105 and you buy somewhere a little bit higher, and you can have a drawdown. If you have enough of the account, then you can hold it. So I will still do a little bit more with the most levels, let's say more about 106, roughly here, where I have the most of the levels. Let's see, because it might have a bit of correction, you never know at that point. So this is where it might drop. Okay, so that's in a little bit on the future. I mean, it might not happen straight away. Right now you see it's still 108, and if it moves inside the channel, so quite easily can slowly just continue the way down, have a correction, again go up and down, and move that way towards our let's say target. So where we have around this area, so you can see I have here one level, and another one is you see with the bottoms, using of the bottoms of previous you see here one bottom and another bottom, so I have that level slightly higher. So you see it could be stopping point here, might be a bit of sitting around and then break out and drop, and then we can reach 106 and go 105, who knows, right? So but right now we are in this downtrend channel. So you see this, that's the big picture. That's what I'm saying. That's how I use history. I look at it, I see what can happen, but this is for a very long term. And in the short term, this is our area. We start with this opening the market, and we'll see if it will have a bit of correction, consolidation, and it might have a bit of correction, or it might continue the way. So the first point is looking at this area. So that's quite a big picture for you guys for euro dollar. Dollar yen, I had no trades because look at this, it's pretty much nothing this week. It started to sit in here. It's actually had a bit of a drop, then came back, then started to have a bit of consolidation. I didn't like anything, so I decided just I don't want to do it, because there is still with the mixed information with the virus, with the economical news. So and you see, it decided to actually sit on top of this channel. So this coming week I will just see where it will continue, because it started to give me a quite nice channel, and so you see that one, that's one I like, and if it will continue the way, then I'm probably going to use that here, and to see if it will drop. I have like really tight 30 pips, and so I think I'm just going to wait for some news. So I'm not going to place orders whatever, let's say. I'll just wait for any coming news, and then I'll see where it's going to be. So if it will still stay here, then I will be looking for placing new orders. At this moment, I just don't want to do it, because it's been like very messy this week, and didn't give me anything reasonable. I mean, okay, on a bigger time frame, it quite looks a little bit like creating head and shoulders, as you can see, right? We have a shoulder, we have a head, so that's quite possibly a little shoulder, or maybe it will give us another little shoulder, and then it might actually drop. So that's why it's kind of a little bit not, it looks a little bit like this, right? So similar, and so that means that from here it might drop, break this area, and then go back in here once again. So pretty much safe, it will not break there, it might have consolidation, and then still continue the way up, turning around. But like I'm saying, it depends what kind of news are going to be out there. So that's why for now I'll probably just wait a little bit to see where is it going to sit, and what kind of news are going to be out there. So right now it's a little bit like, technically looking, is a little bit like head and shoulders a possibility of creation. So yeah, more looking at this point a little bit of the going down, towards down. So that's dollar yen. Australian, so well, you see Australian dollar this week, just like I was telling you, with coronavirus, I was expecting it to continue the way down, but technically, as you can see, it was showing very strong level and creation one bottom and another bottom. You see where it's went down here? I said that technically it does look like a double bottom. Actually, I had a buy order here. That's I decided to go for it, and just based on technical. You see, technical as a double bottom, so I thought I'll go for the short trade. Okay, so that's what I did with my EA. I placed the order, it closed half positions, moved a little bit, and then the rest of it just shot with a small profit too. Okay, so and now once again it's influenced, and well, kind of looks a little bit like it might continue the way down once again with bad news. One again with the more of virus, it will probably break and go drop, but also there will be some news for Australian dollar. Maybe they're going to help it. I would still look a bit more towards going up, because it's a very quite a bottomish, I would say, for Australian dollar. You see where it is, like really here. I mean, okay, it has a room to fall to the next level, and so I think if it will fall that far, then I probably will be looking to buy somewhere around this area if it will actually have a very hard drop. And it can easily be a false breakout. So if you have a small accounts, be careful with this, because yes, it quite easily can jump down, take you into the trade, and then turn around, because it's still more needs a bit of a more correction looking at this. So that's why for me, for example, what I'm going to do, let's just see if it has enough space, because I still like this level as you see, it's been support and resistance at the same time. And let's say if it will sit in here, you see I have about 40 pips to go to the next level, so maybe I will be looking for still placing the penny orders buy from this one. But like, see, I'm not going to place my stop orders, because my account will have enough to hold if I will get in the floating drawdown or something. So, but for the small accounts, it's going to be very risky, because like I'm saying, it still might drop. Right now, it's all based on the news. So technically, I mean, like I saying, still looks like a double bottom. This might be a bullish little flag, and so it's technically it's still more looking towards uptrend. Okay, turning point, a bit of the flag going up and go up maybe to this, or maybe to the next level for some correction, and then from there depends, right? So that's why I think I will be looking at placing the orders from that level. If it will drop here, then possibly once again, I mean, we might create triple bottom, right? So triple bottom. I think I'm going to follow the news and then see, like I'm saying, it's a bit risky to place sell if it will have jump, but not enough like my 10 pips jump, 30 pips. I need like from here, like let's say 20 plus 10 to get at least some profit, and then lock with the profit and no loss if it will turn around. It might not be enough, because you see it's tried to break here just a little bit. It tried. This is very strong one. At the same time, it might, if it will break properly, it can have a very good big move. So that's why just we will see where it's going to have a bit more sitting on this level, or go down to this level. So at this moment, I would say just a little bit of wait and see with all this news what kind of it's going to be, because like that's my point on the Australian dollar Canadian. Okay, I didn't have any trades for dollar Canadian, because look at this also. Nothing pretty much it gave me. It had a big jump up, and then it just turned around and went for a correction, just as we expected. One of the points is a corrective, right? So I didn't have entry this week, but this coming week, quite possibly it started to consolidate here. So, and pretty much it's clear for me, if it will consolidate continue, this is where I will be placing orders, right? The pending order buy with distance, and pending order sell with also distance. So somewhere around here and somewhere around here, because the same with all of this news, you don't know where it will go. Technically looking, we're still in an uptrend. Well, we're in a downtrend channel on a bigger picture, right? But we're in a correction. So we're in a corrective uptrend, and so we quite easily can finish our move around here. At the same time, it finds quite strong resistance, because like I was pointing out to you, that's what I was telling you, it reached the tops here, you can see, and it might not have strength to break it and keep going high to finish the move. But yeah, that's why we're here. You see, that's why it dropped, and once again it might have a bit more correction going down, right? So that's why I have here level a little bit, maybe this area, so it might drop a little bit more here, and then might have a bit of a like go here, maybe correction, consolidation a little bit here, and then we will see if it will start to break. So then I'll be placing orders here once again. But this moment, this is the first, because you see it might have continue, right? But very strong. You see, I have few tops in here. So once again, it did not break this area. So well, that's the picture for dollar CAD, and that's my zone to look at now, placing the possible orders, because you see here it was a bit too much. So here is my area. Okay, we're going with gold. So gold did exactly as expected. Well, pretty much, right? So the bigger picture in here, it started to have a bit of consolidation. This is where my orange area was. The first trade I actually missed because it actually went down, and then let's see the picture. So where you see where it's happened. You see it's happened right at night again. So I decided not to place, because I don't like to place my orders in the night and not to see what's actually happening. See, 4 o'clock in the morning around, and in my chart here, and so that's why I decided like I would just wait. So you see it went down and it went up, and this is where I placed my orders. Okay, so you see, and then on the way back at reasonable time where I could see it went down. So then I had no trades anymore, and remember, that's what I was telling you, because we have a little bit of looking like a triangle, and that's what I was telling you. From here I was expecting the possible creation of the triangle. It could go down here to the next level, but it actually went and gave us another a bit of a top. So that's why it quite possibly be a triangle pattern. So from here, of course, technically I would expect a turnaround. Okay, but once again, this my entry point already started to form is this one, right? So that's the area I highlighted. So if it will have a bit consolidation, hopefully with the opening of the market on Monday, it will not jump down or jump up. Of course, could be gaps once again, so need to see how it opens. But if it will have a smooth, nice move, that's my first entry point. Okay, so from here, if it will jump up, of course, then I will wait for some real consolidation somewhere. If it will jump down, then it quite possibly might not consolidate here. It might have, you see, a little bit of consolidation it hit here before. So yes, of course, it might drop and start to consolidate a little bit here, a bit higher to this. So in this scenario, so I'll see how big it's going to be. So something like this, and you see it's pretty much consolidated on top of my previous orange here, as you can see. So if it will do so, I will still have enough. You see, I have enough like 50 pips space. The only problem with gold, it has bigger spreads and slipperages also bigger, so that's why 50 pips might not be enough, but we will see. It will be probably based on news events again, right? So follow the news and we will see before which news is going to start consolidation. But that's the first entry point, first area. Okay, and so if it will jump up, so obviously we will look for the tops. We have this top, and that's where I would be seeing quite possible if it will jump from here. Then I have, yes, see around like 80 pips, 100, let's say 90 to the next stop. So that possibly could be a stop, a little correction maybe also. That's the area. If it will break it out and then correct, and then it might have a big move continue up. But at this moment it's still kinda on that level, so it still did not break it quite, and so that's why it quite easily can decide to be in this triangle, because with all this uncertainty around the virus and everything else. So other news, I mean, economical. Euro pound, I didn't touch. Just like I said, I just don't feel comfortable to use it and trade it, even though it kind of looks like it needs good correction. And but it's reacting so much on the pound news. You see, that's where we go. So technically, it was looking a bit more going up, but you see, it decided to go down because pound got stronger this week because of unexpected news. And so once again, so it's quite uncertain where it's going to go. It will be reacting on the news, and so pretty much you can see where pound dollar goes, then euro pound will go other way around. So, and is euro getting weak, and it might actually break that level. This is a very, very strong, you can see it's a very strong level, and you have to be very careful once again if you decide to trade this pair, because you might have false breakouts, little breakout, take you into the trade, and then you can stuck in a drawdown, in a floating So that's why, I mean, it started to create a little bit of nice channel. You see, it started here, and it might continue around the same area. So you see, look, a little bit double bottom. So if it will have here, then again it will show us of a bit of a correction and maybe go back into this area. So, but it depends what's the news going to be for pound also. So that's why I'm not sure about, you know, placing the orders at this point for euro pound. Maybe just to wait a little bit, watch it, and see what's going to happen. But if you are the, well, obviously you can see it's back into this level, and this is the area where to look for it. Okay, and technically it still would be looking more that the euro should have a bit of a correction, a bit better than this. Okay, it had a little bit of pullback, but a bit more. So that's my view on the euro pound. I just probably going to stay away for now. So, well, unless of course if there are some like super unexpected news, then you can jump into it, right? So you see it started to move, so you can jump in it, but not when it's already moved like 50, 60 pips. So if it started to move like based on some news and you are still watching it and you get into like, let's say it's moving like 10, 20, 30 pips, and then in the strong news, then you can try to jump into it. But if it's already like jumped like 60 or something, 100 pips, it's very risky because it might have a correction, okay? So a pullback, because some people jump in and jump out straight away, and you can get into the bad trade that way. So you see pound dollar, this is where we were, remember? So I had a small sale there and it's closed out with small profit. So like I told you, that was not entry point anymore when we were here opening the market, because I said I quite possibly expected to continue the way down, but at the same time a correction was expected, and this is exactly what happened. You see that at that point where I told you no trades here, wait to see if it will have a correction, which it did. It went down up to the level where his expectation. From that it started to go down, and then there was unexpected news, and that's big jump based on those news. And I'm still more negative towards pound, and I'm still looking into sell opportunities, but as like I said, it's going to be very volatile and might just jump and move between these areas. So like I'm saying, once again, if you have a bigger account, you can play with it and go into floatings and hold. But if you have small accounts, you have very big risk of losing it, because you can see the movements like huge, like from here to here, it's like nearly 200 pips, 180 pips jump and up, and from here it quite easily can jump down the same distance or jump up again. So that's why be careful, and if you're going for this for pound, follow the news, just listen what they're saying, any economical news, anything. This was like political news, right? And that's what it made it jumped. You see here we still have a bit of a gap open. I mean, even if it's small, but there is still a gap, so it might still pretty much it can this week jump and close it. So it might be another month or 2 months or a year, but it's quite possible. So right now it's right here, and I still I don't want to buy it. So I mean, okay, it's a good level. So basically, if it will break that level, I would presume it should have a good jump up. So it's a possibility of using this as an entry point. I don't know if I will go for it. Like I'm saying, I still like more into selling it. So, but that would have been the point to look at. So if it will have a little bit consolidation, it will break this a little bit up and then sit in here somewhere, then quite possible to look at this as a place in penny orders buy. Like I'm saying, it's reacting so much on different news coming out about these negotiations and whatever's happening there in politically, economically. This is just so much, and can at any moment. That's the big problem, is it can happen at any moment. Like with economical news, at least you know the specific times when the report should come out. When it's political, you don't know, right? It can be like this week. It was like, wow, it was a resignation of I've forgotten who, because I'm not into politics much, but you know what I'm talking about. There is something about Bank of England now, is it right? The change in and now the new person who is taking the bloke who resigned, so the new one, they're saying going to be a little bit soft or something. It might even raise the rate. So pretty much if there will be news like this or speculations about it, of course pound will go up, okay, this type of news. So that's why it jumped up. But now for me, I would probably just wait for it to go back and see maybe here consolidate. Well, obviously once again, so here's I'm giving you some ideas. Maybe if it will sit in here, then you can use that. Also that level for placing pending orders buy, and still using this level for pending orders sell. I think I'm going to look at more towards this way. But like I'm saying, with all those news, it might continue the way up now because it's getting a little bit more positive news for pound, and it can keep going. But follow the news. That's what I can say about it. Okay, pound yen. Well, obviously, if you trading it, you'll notice on most of all pound pairs, they all went up because of those news. You can see the same pound yen. Yen should be more stronger because of the coronavirus, right? So that's why I was expecting consolidation. That's why I said wait for some consolidation around this area and then place an order. So it didn't consolidate. It jumped up, started to move a little bit, and so pretty much still the same with the levels. Went to the next level, had a bit of correction, continue to the next level, had a bit of correction, and continue again. So yes, this week it might keep going all the way to the next level. So you can use those levels, look at them where it stops. Consolidates, but again I'm still looking at more selling possibilities, so I will be looking for more negative news, let's say, towards pound, and still looking at the same levels, and also coronavirus is because of yen, to see maybe it will be less stress news about it, and then pound will get stronger against yen. So but still more news are coming out. So if it will start to consolidate around, I will be still looking at this level as a possible place in the sell. And if it will go to next level, once again some consolidation, and I will be still looking placing pending orders sell. That's how I would like. But if you, for example, want to use this level, so if it will sit in here, then it's quite possible to use the level for pending orders buy. Okay, so you 20 pips above and buy, then it goes to next level, then have consolidation, then possible placing orders sell from here, and who knows if it will have a bit of a top, right? And then you can have look for placing pending orders buy at the same time, you see. So and then it can continue the way up. So that's my view on this week for the main pairs. And if you like the video, of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, press the bell so you don't miss new videos. And if you're interested in the EA I'm using for placing the orders, then look in the description under this video for more information. So thank you for watching, happy trading, and I see you next week. Bye everyone.